Thanks for joining us today. I'm going to share a couple things about sales here as we wrap the show up today. Had some listeners who submitted some questions, really great questions about sales. And I thought what I would do is address one or two of those questions today. Here's a question from a sales manager. The question is, what metrics should I measure for my sales team? Are they weekly? Are they monthly? Are they yearly? This is an interesting question because most of my clients are not measuring. When we first start working with them, they're not measuring the right things. They're just not. They almost everybody measures. What was last month's sales, what was last quarter's sales, what were last year's sales, and that's great. It's good to know your numbers and the trends, but that's not going to help you now. You know what I mean? It's not going to help you. It's too late. When those numbers are in, it's too late. So we always suggest to our clients that they measure behaviors, activities, and make sure that their teams, people like Chris that are out there doing the good work, make sure that they're doing the right activities in the right time frames and the right quantities with the right people, and we call that behavior. And behavior is 1/3 of what we refer to as the success triangle. So there's behavior, and then there's attitudes, and there's techniques, the 3 points of the triangle. And the thing about metrics, when you're measuring behaviors, then you can pinpoint when things aren't going as well as you want them to. Because if your team members are doing the right behaviors, right activities, in the right quantities with the right people at the right times, then if the results still aren't as good as you want them to be, then you know that the problem lies in either their technique, the way they engage with people, what questions they ask, or what things they are saying, or the problem might lie in their mindset, which is very typical in the sales world. It's very easy to get down on yourself. It's very easy to have a negative mindset. It's also very easy to have too positive a mindset. Like, hey, I had a great month last month, and it's just going to keep going. All I got to do is sit here and answer the phone.
Right.
I remember the prospect one time who told me that I asked him about, how are his sales activities, and he told me that he was pretty sure his sales team were aggressively waiting for the phone to ring.
There you go.
Okay.
I like that.
Yeah, that's a great strategy. What do you think, Chris?
So I was just going to say, I've noticed a lot of that too, Al, where there's a lot of individuals I've noticed, and I think it's a measure of just being self-aware, because activity is not always necessarily productivity. It's just knowing how to focus on the certain things that are going to make, the decisions that you're making and the behaviors that's going to bring about the best desired results in the shortest time, and that's what I've found.
Yes. So we want our clients to have what we call a cookbook, which is, what is their recipe for activity, so a daily minimum of activity or a weekly minimum of activity, and what are those activities, and are they the right ones, like Chris said, and then we can take a look at results and see if we need to change either the mindsets or the techniques, or do we need to change the behaviors.
Sure. How do you go about the mindset aspect?
Yeah, that's interesting.
That's interesting.
That's an interesting question. I've got a colleague that says what you got to do is you got to open up the brain.
Yeah.
And you got to rewire the neurons.
Yeah, you have to be aware of what's around you and absorb the immediate, because a lot of what happens in your life is absorbed by everything around you.
Oh yeah, there's so much negativity.
Yes.
So much negativity in the world today. You see a lot of people who say, I'm going to take a break from Twitter. I'm going to take a break from Facebook. And why is that? Because of the negativity.
That's
exactly.
right. You don't need it.
Yeah.
No, exactly. And when you're making products for kids, being aware of what you're doing and how you're doing it is so important. Gratifying is the word if you're doing it correctly. And our motto is, if you have healthy candy, for example.
Good example.
You have healthy kids, and you have healthy sales.
Yes.
And you combine those things, and it sort of covers the scope of what you should be doing.
That's a positive culture.
To try to make a difference in a positive way.
It's an interesting observation, Armand, and I have observed that the happiest people I know are the people that are focused on what they do from day to day and how they go about thinking about what they do
Yes.
from day to day. And that's a concept that supersedes sales
You're
or
right.
business. And
From
Yes.
the time you wake
Yeah.
up.
Yes.
it is a way to look at life.
Yes,
That's
a
right.
way to
Yeah.
look at life is beautiful. You said it so well.
Thank you. I say some things are well, some things, yeah. So that's a wrap today, guys. Appreciate it. Armand, thank you for being with us. Chris?
Pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you